Alright guys, so let's start here with the sound in Unreal Engine. I really recommend you to follow the light tutorial just for this one, because there's a couple of things that I done in that I'm going to be reusing in here. So just to give you more of a sense of how you can properly use the sounds. So let's get started here. So if you have any sounds that you want to play, just drag and drop to the engine. So it's really easy, just drag and drop in here. But Unreal Engine, if using the default content, we have some sounds that we can use. So what you can do here, if you click on this, choose a path, I'm gonna search for sound, and we have here editor sounds, right? I'm gonna select in there, and in here we got game preview. So you got a couple of sounds in here that we can use. Okay, so there's two difference in Unreal Engine. There is the sound file, that's the one you just drag and drop. And then there's the sound cue. So the sound cue, you can play both of them in the Word if you want. They are treated the same, but the sound cue has more features. You can actually change the attenuation. Let's say if you want to do the, I don't know, your character footsteps is stepping on something that's wet, you can kind of do that in the sound cue. Well, so to create a sound cue is very easy. Right click anywhere in the project. We're gonna go to audio and we're gonna press sound cue. We're gonna call this SC. And I'm gonna call this the dark sound or something, I don't know. Yeah. Just to give you context, if I press play, my scene is all dark. What I want to do here is when I activate those lights, they do some kind of a sound, some kind of a feedback to the player. Right, so let's open up this. If I press play, nothing gonna happen because we don't have any record, we don't have any sound to play. Let's select here a sound that we want to play. I did a couple of testings and I'm just gonna use this one. Eject from player here. Right, cool. So what I want to do with this is that I'm not a very good sound designer, but I can do a couple of things in here that makes this sounds maybe better, or I don't know. So if I right click in here, we have a lot of options that we can choose. So we have a selector, we have quality control, we have random sounds. We can do an enormous amount of stuff with this. So basically, think about a sound cue like a sound editor inside Unreal Engine. So something that you can do some tweaks to make sure your sound looks even scarier or looks better or clean or whatever. Right. So in this case here, I'm gonna use the attenuation. And in here, I am gonna, actually not the attenuation, sorry, I'm gonna use the, I think is, how is it called? The modulator. There we go. So you can just play with the pitch, max and min. So if I plug this here, plug this sound here, and then press play, you don't see any difference. But now if you start to mess with these values, something like you put 0.01, pitch max you put 2, and now you should see a weird, say like a value coming up. So let's change this to, let's say 0.5 to max 1. There you go. See, so we have a different oscillation. So you guys can play around with this. You know, you can play with the attenuation is a big one. Attenuation is basically how far you want the sound to be listened to. You have dialogues and things, but for now, let's keep with this. Cool. Now you're probably asking, how do you play the sound in the game? Very simple as well. So if you remember in the light tutorial, we create those lights blocks that when the player walks around, right, we enable the light. So what we're gonna do here is every time you enter or you touch the sound, it will play something, like we'll make sure it plays a sound on the game. So I'm gonna edit this this asset there. I'm gonna the actor. So here's when you activate the light. So if I right click in here, I'm gonna search for something called play sound, and I want to play the sound at the location. Okay. And here I'm gonna select what's the sound we're gonna play. In that case, there's many here, but I'm just gonna go back to the SC dark sound. It's gonna place in there. And the location normally is where the player at. So what we can do here is we can from here there we can get actual location, and there you go. Okay, cool. So what we can do here is the multiplier, start time, everything here is fine. We don't need to play with those settings, they're not important for now. And now we can press play, and if I get this, there we go. So we got a very dark kind of a thing coming up, right? Alright, so just before we finish this video here, I just want to explain you how you can create a sound that keeps looping. Let's say you have some kind of a wind sound or music or something, you can create this with Unreal Engine as well. So for this one, I don't have any specific sound here, so I'm gonna just use this compile success. I'm just gonna create something that keeps looping, right? So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna create another sound cue on audio. Sound cue I'm gonna call SC again, and I'm gonna call loop. And I'm gonna open up this file. I'm just gonna search in that again for sound, right? Let's go back to that folder. Let's preview game here. Yeah, you don't need to use these sounds. It's just because I don't have any specific sound that I want to use, so you can use anything you want. So I'm gonna bring this here, and now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find the attenuation again. Sorry, no, it's the what's called modulator. Yep. So I'm gonna plug this here. I'm just gonna do that thing where 0.5 to 1, right? And in this, I think this the volume, I want to do something 0.2 to 0.5 because I don't want this noise to be very annoying to the player. Okay. And now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna search for something called looping, and I think if I press play, you see, so you have like a computer noise or something very simple. Nice. So how do you play this in the game? There's many ways you can actually do this. The simplest way is always to just get your sound, just not that one, sorry, this one, drag and drop here, and right now we can just press play, and you should have the sound coming up. As you can see it's a little bit of a noise, so let's make sure it's 0.2, so it's just a background noise. Yeah, or maybe even less, something I don't know, 0.1. There we go. So, and there you go. So you have like a very dummy sound for your game. But once again, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can, expand the sound. It plays, fades out. You can do something when you walk. You can do a bunch of stuff. You can combine this with your character. If you want to create some kind of a footsteps, you can use, this is going a little bit further, but you can use animations, events, and then every time the player moves, you can play that sound. So you can do a bunch of cool stuff with this. So thank you very much for watching, guys, and I see you in the next one.